Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back to our weekly discussion show from the Ilford studio on the Sikh channel. Now, today we have in the studio with us a prominent figure of the community who has a very diverse role, but I'm not going to tell you too much about what she does, and that's one of the reasons we have her on today. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Jasbir Kaur Panesar from the University of East London. Now, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's a pleasure to have you on. So, Jasbir, tell us, what do you do?
I work for the Pre-Entry Advice and Guidance Service. What our purpose is that what we do is that we have a drop-in basis where people can come in. They don't need an appointment to our services in Stratford. We have another site for 2 days a week in Barking, at the Barking Learning Centre. Basically, people can come and see an advisor. We're all qualified. But they can be from all walks of life, different work experiences at different levels of educational attainment, whether from the UK or abroad.
Okay.
And we actually sit down and have a one-to-one interview. They can have an interview with an education advice guidance worker, who will then sit down with them, see what their aspirations are, what they want to do, what career path they want to undertake, and then we basically explore with them what they've done, any voluntary work experience or work experience which could be utilised for the in terms of where they can actually put in as a personal statement, or we can actually then liaise with admissions or the academic staff.
So can I just clarify the age group in terms of University of East London?
Yes.
So for those people who do not know, University of East London is an adult educational based university?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the age group that we're targeting?
Well, our service is from 18 onwards.
18 plus?
Yeah, 18 plus,
okay.
Yes.
And what kind of guidance, in terms of your role, is more of a guidance, advice, support?
Yes.
That's quite a diverse title. So what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, if I'm in the office, I see clients. They provide one-to-one guidance. Other aspects of what we do is that we do outreach as a team. We work with colleges where we go and work with, say, access coordinators, work with access students, where we actually give them guidance on the UCAS applications, or specifically more personal statements.
Okay.
So
for example, personal statement, CV building.
CV building in terms of personal statements, if they're putting, because at this time of year people are putting in applications through. Yes. So we have gone into colleges, and we still are. We are having requests from colleges to go in and speak to their students, specifically access students, where we actually go through the UCAS application process, but we give one-to-one more practical advice on their written personal statements, which if they're done, so they have one-to-one dialogue with us. Okay,
so for some of our viewers, for those who do not understand, a personal statement is written for a person of 18 years or over when they're making an application for a particular course.
That's right. That's right. So basically, every individual is different. What we do is that when they actually have when we go in, they have a draft ready. We go through it with them, and we give them pointers what need to be done, and maybe in terms of rewriting or rephrasing, or making suggestions how to improve on that. So at least that gives a head start where they can actually have a near finished personal statement, which they can then present to the tutors to be sent off to UCAS.
Wow, that's very good support that is offered to students. Now, the University of East London, where is it based, and how big of an area does it cover?
Well, we're based in Stratford and Beckton area. That's where our campuses are. We have we have this University Square where my service is based, and we have Stratford campus, and we have the Docklands site in the Beckton area.
That's good. So it's quite an East London based sense reason University of East London.
It's accessible for transport wise also.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier about community. Now your work is quite diverse, advising, guiding,
Yes.
supporting. Now, you said you worked with a lot of community organisations.
Yes.
So what is your role in regards to that?
Well, in my role in Preston, what I do is that I contact a lot of, well, I personally also have contacted community organisations, or sometimes community organisations also contact with me, because obviously they're aware of my job role, and because I've been working in the community for a number of years.
How many years exactly?
I have worked at the University of East London for the past 27 years.
27 years.
But I
wow.
have worked in the community of well over 30 years, but in West London. But for University of East London, it's been 27 years, and through 27 years, have done quite a lot of outreach, external work.
So how do you feel community organisations benefit from people like yourself?
Well, what we do is what we tend to do is that we offer going into the community. What I've done is with their service users, or it's not only community organisations, but women's groups or self-help groups. We've actually go down. If there's anyone who's interested in maybe finding out to return to education, we do emphasise that our role is pre-entry. People who wanted to return to training or education. What I tend to do is actually go down and do an educational workshop with them. I have then later on, I have then basically put a time aside to see them, to give them one-to-one guidance at their premises, the organisation's premises. Because sometimes not everyone is would like to come to the university. Obviously, there are other issues. So we actually give that option where people can. I do go down and give them one-to-one guidance at the organisation. So
I think the added advantage here is, and we have to just re-emphasise to the public and our viewers, is that Jasbir's role is about encouraging men and women who would like to go back into education, regardless of their age, because education is a lifelong journey, and I'm very particular keen on we are forever learning, and that's one of the basics of our religion also. And it's very important for people like yourself who support women, men who are looking to go back into the education stream and benefit from that. Now, as in your 27 years of working in the community and working at the university, what has been your most touching experience?
There's been a lot of touching experiences, because one thing is that when you've helped someone and then they either contact you or email you or make a personal visit to your service to let you that that what they've been doing and what they've achieved, or where they're working, it sort of gives you a sense of accomplishment, and that coming to work is meaningful, because you are helping a community to get by. So there's a number of stories I can tell you throughout the 27 years. Sometimes the people come back to me and I don't recognise them because it's been a long time. And then people say and then they remind you, that you have been able to help them. So it's nice when they do that.
So I think it's good to mention to our viewers also in Punjabi कि जिन्होंने भी जिन्होंने लगता है कि ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ we become an adult, ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਪਸ education ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਕੋਰਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, they shouldn't feel restricted ਕਿ guidance ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਲੋਕੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ persuade ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ options ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੇ courses ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ, and regardless of age, I think that's what I'm trying to get at is education फिर भी कुछ न कोई पढ़ाई कर सकते हैं.
नहीं, ladies or gents भी आंदे हैं साडे कोल ना, फिर केईं बार मेरे को पुछदे आ भी हना ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਾਡੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਛੱਡਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰਿਡੰਡੈਂਸੀ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਦ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕੀ ਉਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਰੀਅਰ ਐਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਹ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਣ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਾਸਿਓਂ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਇੰਪਰੂਵ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਫਿਰ ਐਡਮਿਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਲ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨੀ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਗਾਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਸਟੈਪ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ step ਲੈ ਰਹੇ हैं ना वो सही है तो फिर
that's very good for the viewers to understand. So another point is if they do wish to go into education, go back into education regardless of their age. Now for some people funding their education is a big question. Now there's so many ways that the government can support or people can self-fund or make a contribution. Now, what are some of the schemes out there for people?
Schemes. Every university has their own schemes. Some, we have bursary sponsorships. But if you look at our website, there is a sections which tells you what's on offer. Obviously, each academic year could vary, but we do advise people to say look at our website.
Okay. And so, for the viewers, would you like to share the website?
It's www.uel.ac.uk.
That's very good and handy information for people to get. So if anybody would like to any further information about the courses they would like to join, या थानू लगदा कि असी हाले भी पढ़ सकते हैं टाइम हैगा साडे को so go to www.uel.ac.uk. So in regards to your community liaisons, I'm going back to your community connection. Are there any upcoming workshops, new initiatives? Because now we're running up to Christmas, end of the year is coming in a few weeks' time. So are there any new initiatives that people may be of interest to join?
Well, in terms of if there's any organizations or if there's any groups who would like for us to come out to see them, we're always willing to come down and speak to them and see how we can actually accommodate, if possible, a working partnership with them.
And where should these groups be based?
Well, most of my areas we've been working in is actually East London.
East London, okay.
Because in terms of for us be able to manage to get access to them to go down. So it does not matter whether it's a self-help group or a women's group or an organisation. Because I'm from a community background myself, I'm flexible. Some people, if in terms of don't have laptops, big IT suites and stuff, and so that's fine. I can work in with the literature I bring in a group, or I can work. I can work with a flip chart, because my idea is for the workshop to be interactive and not to give a straight lecture, but to try and get to know my clients, my participants in the group, and make it interactive. And because my whole idea of a worthwhile workshop is to make sure that they go away with what they come for,
and especially for some of our members of community whose English is not their first language. So sometimes Excel spreadsheets, Word documents are too fancy, and I think coming back to basics, whether it's paper-based, often helps, because again it's for upskilling people, making sure their skills are matched so they can come back into employment, come back into education. So in terms of the initiatives, there's no upcoming initiatives throughout the university, or like you mentioned, community groups are always there.
That's right. I mean, I ran one workshop last week and now I'm going tomorrow to another one.
Sure.
And so we try and accommodate people as and when, you know, as soon as they contact us, you know.
Okay.
And we do go out and visit them and discuss them in possible ways. If there's any local authority or community organisation who is doing specific events, and then we do go down,
yeah,
we do
good,
go
yeah.
out with our literature, so we actually are able to inform people, give them a guidance, and then if anyone actually wants a much more one-to-one base, we actually take away their casework with them, our case, you know, where we request them with their permission to fill in a form, and then we actually then take that up as a casework, and then we actually give them the guidance they need.
So somebody, say in their late 40s, decides, I have nothing to do now, I want to go back into education. Now, depending on their level of understanding and prior qualifications, can they start from the bottom up, or do they go like entry level, or can they choose to do a diploma and then do a degree later? How does it work?
Well, that's what we ask initially. We ask the people what they want to do first, and where do they see themselves in say 10 years time, and then we work back and we look at what they've done and what they need to do, and that's where we're able to then give them advice in terms of various routes. Our guidance is impartial. We give them the various options, but the client makes the last decision.
Sure,
and we do give them handouts. We give them enough material. They can come back to us as much as they want. They can see the same advisor, or if they come, whoever is on duty will see them. We're very flexible.
Okay, and do you in particular help people who are job seekers, say looking for work? Or looking for education?
We get a lot of people who do see people who are on benefits, who are seeking to see in what options are available for them in terms of retraining. We have our own pathways, if I can mention.
Of course,
we have like in New Beginnings.
So just to clarify to the viewers, you have a number of pathways that anyone looking to get back into education.
We have our own short courses, which is if people are specifically interested in University of East London's courses. We have got what we call is the New Beginnings, and there's Introduction to Law and Criminology. Details are on the website. If people are, many of our courses are accepted with New Beginnings. If people actually have to sit a short, they have to do an assessment test.
So it's an assessment based.
Yeah, they have to come and see our service, and then we feel that course is suitable for them. We'll put them through for the assessment test. Then that will be passed on to the New Beginnings team, who devise the test. If they pass that, then they will offer them a place, and they go on to it's a 10 weeks course program. And if they pass that, then they, providing they got the English and Maths, they can actually go into quite a majority of our degree courses, say next September.
So does the University of East London also support students with the functional skills like English and Maths?
Well, what we do have in terms of functional skills, because obviously it's mandatory for people to have English and Maths. If they don't have it, we actually, like I said, handouts. We're always revising. We always, if there's a demand for particular information, we are always revising our handouts or initiating new handouts. We have providers which are providing functional skills, literacy and numeracy, which we do actually do give to our clients when we do see them. Proactively. We don't say to them, you need to do this, and then they have to go and search for that. We give them links to websites. We do give handouts.
And how flexible is the University of East London when it comes to young parents or people who have childcare situations to deal with, or they have full-time jobs to manage? How accommodating is the university? In
terms of accommodating, obviously our retention is any university is important. So we we have a student services where people can go to for you know, or they can go to speak to the tutors, or you know, to get, you know, before and we do advise students to speak to someone within the university or an officer, you know, if there is any issue or problem which can actually basically affect their studies, right? But that's one, I think, a unique service like ours. We actually prepare people. We actually, what we do is, that's one of the things is that, you see, we're one of the things when we do through the course of interview, obviously it's up to the person how much they tell us. If there are any issues where they're actually got childcare issues, where they have got, you know, employment, or how will they juggle in terms of studies, and we do work out, myself, a realistic program for them, you know, and discuss with them and try to say what that in terms of, because they are actually financially paying the fees.
So that leads me to my next question, because a lot of overseas students have to pay their fee at a higher rate than home-based students, and now that is one of my next point that I was going to raise. Now, can you please clarify to our viewers, of those people who've come from overseas, how do they apply to the University of East London, and what is the procedure? So मैं पंजाबी च भी दस दिंदी हां, जिन्हां नूं जिहड़े हुण बाहरों आए होए आ overseas students तां पता करना चाहते हैं कि how they can do some sort of course through the university, the procedures की होंदे आ, so इस करके ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਪੁੱਛ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਜਸਬੀਰ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ कि overseas students ਲਈ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ?
Overseas students ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗੇ admissions ਹੈਗੇ ਨਾ, ਵੀ ਉਹ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ overseas applications है कि ना वो apply करते हैं ना, they ना UCAS or they postgraduate through UEL they ना application process online, और फिर जड़े क्यों जड़े साढ़े है कि ना ते offices है कि allocated to some countries है ना, which because of recruitment drive लेना वो अब they check करते हैं ना, because मामला ये है कि अभी qualifications भी equivalencies देखने पड़ते हैं, फिर home office दा भी है ना, वो भी अदर भी सर offices है कि है ना, भी जड़े ओ सर्विस दा ना डील करते हैं स्पेसिफिक दा ना, और फिर एडवाइस करते हैं अभी ना भी की चाहिए है, जड़ी सारी सर्विस है कि है ना, असि जनरल एडवाइस दिंदे हैं कि हमारी कोई इत्थे आ जांदा भी स्टूडेंट विजिटर्स होंदे कि विजिटर होंदे आ, और इंफॉर्मेशन चाहते हैं भी किस तरह अप्लाई यूनिवर्सिटी दा, और फोन करते हैं ना, समझो इंडिया ले ना साडे कोल ऑफिसर हैगा भी, ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਿਲੋ।
ਸੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਫੋਕਸ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, whether the students or married or however they come, now some of them have already a qualification in India, but when they come here they don't know how to increase their qualification to get the job they're seeking. So कई बारी इदा हुंदा है कि qualification already हुंदी है इंडिया च, पर इत्थे आके की करना पैंदा या through the university to get the equivalent accreditation?
जो equivalent accreditation दा हैगा आ भी साडे कोल एक साडे हैगे आ international the deal करते हैं international qualifications the admissions दा ना, उन्हें साडे कोल guidelines हैगे आ, ओ तो से वो साडे कोल access हैगे, ओ तो से देख के ਅਸੀਂ उन्हें दस सकते हैं, एक तो साडे कोल NARIC तो ਅਸੀਂ है ना पता देख सकते हैं, फिर ਅਸੀਂ उन्हें एडवाइस दे सकते हैं, जो साडे कोल आंदा है ना कोई जो overseas qualifications वो automatically है ना ਅਸੀਂ equivalency देखते हैं।
So ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ? NARICs ਤੇ already database ਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ?
ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਸਟੈਬਲਿਸ਼ਮੈਂਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕੋ ਐਕਸੈਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਐਕਸੈਸ NARIC ਦੀ ਨਾ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਫਿਰ देख सकते हैं। एक तो सारे इंटरनेशनल जो ऑफिस से वो भी सानू एडवाइस सारे को गाइडलाइंस है कि वो तो ਅਸੀਂ देख सकते हैं कि केड़ी किस लेवल ते है कि वो एक्सेप्ट हो सकती तो नहीं, जैसे नहीं श्योर है कि ना फिर जो उन्होंने होंगे सर्टिफिकेट्स ना, और ਅਸੀਂ उन्होंने कह सकते हैं ਅਸੀਂ एडमिशंस भी देखते हैं, फिर सानू एडवाइस दे देंगे है भी इस लेवल ते है, तो फिर ये जो क्लाइंट है ना वो they can follow this procedure.
So that's very interesting to know, and and ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਪਤਾ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਵੀ ਈਸਟ ਲੰਡਨ ਦੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ but if you want any further information you can also email our studio which is ilford@seekchannel.tv. Email us, ask questions, we will signpost you to people like Jasbir where you can get more information. But thank you so much Jasbir for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge and continue the good work you're doing, continue the guidance and support you're giving community organisations. And that's all for today, and we will see you next week on the Ilford at the Ilford studio on the discussion show. So for today, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.